Hello, persuasive writers. We are going to get to the final stage today. We are going to edit and revise our paper. Now, this is the document that I have attached to this assignment. And so you are going to click on it in the Google app down at the bottom, and it'll create a copy for you. And then you're going to go through and initial where you can right here in these boxes, indicating that you went over all of these things in your paper. So we also have a peer initial. So if you're at home, you might need to get creative about who you use for your peer. Maybe it's an adult in your house. Maybe it's a neighbor that you can work with outside. Maybe it's a sibling. I'd say use your dog, but I don't know that they have a great writing sense. So, so just do the best you can to find somebody to do your peer editing. You could maybe even call somebody from class so they'll know what you're doing, or call any sixth grader because they're doing this checklist as well. So here we go. Paragraphs, 5 indented paragraphs. And again, you can refer to the final copy in the resource folder to really get an idea of what your final copy should look like. Sentence beginnings. Check the first 2 words of every sentence in each paragraph. And if the sentences start with the same 2 words, change it. You just want to avoid having it sound the same and repetitive. Missing words. So sometimes when we're writing in our brain, it makes sense, but then we read it and we're like, oh my goodness, I missed like 3 words there. So go back and try to really read it word for word. Sometimes if you read it out loud, that helps. Incomplete sentences. Read the paper starting with the last sentence so that your brain isn't playing tricks on you, and see if that sentence would stand alone, if it makes sense by itself. Run-on sentences. So same kind of thing, start with the last one, and then you want to make sure that you're not reading and reading and reading like, oh my goodness, I put 3 sentences all together. Transition words. Now, again, those are on your assignment overview. So if you want to look back at those, that would be great. It just helps your sentences flow and makes it less choppy, which is why it's called a transition. Capitalization, obviously, right? First word of each sentence. Pronoun I, which you probably are using quite a bit for this persuasive essay. Proper names, places, any of those words that we need to have capitalized. Punctuation. Period, exclamation point, question mark at the end. Also, after every, since we're typing, after every punctuation mark, there's a space after it, not before it, but after it. So period, space, and then start. Grammar, here's some common grammar mistakes. So there you go. Then revision, here we go. So editing is more the technical pieces. Revision has a bit more creativity to it. So is the first sentence interesting and related to the topic? Does it hook and engage the readers? So we did these in class and it was fun to share what our hooks were. Thesis statement. Now remember, topic, reason, and reason all in one sentence. So that's kind of, a given. It's a nice little structure for you. So make sure you have that. And that should be in your introduction. Is there a sense of flow from the opening, or is it kind of awkward? So that'll be subjective. You just have to kind of judge that. Then paragraphs 2 and 3, topic, sentence give you an idea of what the paragraph's about. Do you have your evidence? Do you have a source cited, like an expert person or a website? Does the last sentence wrap it up? Now we have the opposition. Is the opposition argument logical? And is your opposition argument, is it clearly countered? Do you have your counter argument? Or are you just like, you might think that such and such, but you're wrong. And if that's all you're saying, that's not really a good counter argument. So you might want to rethink that. Now, paragraph 5, here we are at the conclusion. Are we wrapping it up? Are we discussing the reasons? But we don't want to repeat every single word of the reasons, because then that's just repetitive. Does the paragraph end with a final emotional plea or bandwagon appeal, something to really get the reader's attention? And then we have some overall questions. What persuasive technique is used? Is there one example of figurative language? So we didn't talk about that in class exactly. So if you want to add that, that's great. If not, don't worry about that one. We'll worry about it next time. Can you hear your voice or passion for the topic? Does it sound like you're actually writing this, or does it sound like a robot could have written your paper? Transition words again, and complete sentences. All right, so here's all the things you need to go over. It's in a nice little checklist for you. So you'll go through, do the checklist, and if it's not there, don't just be like, oh, I don't have that. The natural thing to do would be then to go into your paper and change it. All right, that's the purpose of doing this. So make sure if you have these things, excellent. Give yourself a smiley face, pat on the back, high five, sparkle fingers. And then if you don't, make sure you go back and make those changes. All right, can't wait to read your papers.